Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to another edition of Row Vision. Weird. Y'all not used to me doing streams like this back to back, but fuck it. I got the time. I'm feeling hot, especially after San Diego Comic Con. So there was a lot of news coming out of that. So I figured, you know what, man? A lot of this Black Panther stuff hit me real close to home. So I figured, yo, let's stream. Let's stream. And we got some people here in the chat. Kenny, my man, what's going on? What's going on? Good to see you. I appreciate you stopping by, brother. Appreciate you stopping by. Up, and hold on. I think we may have a guest. 1 second. I think it's Elvis. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Elvis. But I'll give you guys a couple minutes, man. State yourselves, make yourselves known in the chat. And after we get a couple people in here, yeah, we'll get going, man. We'll get going. Let me see if I could bring Elvis on real quick. Yo, brother, can you hear me, Elvis?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How you doing, man?
Great. But when I saw you doing this topic, I'm like, okay, let's get going. This is a heavy topic.
Yeah, very heavy, man. I appreciate you being able to stop by. I apologize, man. I do these streams last minute. I just think of the idea and I come on. So thank you for popping on, man.
No, it's awesome. I wish I could do something like that. But your streams are always so fun. So it's just a pleasure.
Thank you. But yeah, while we're letting some people stroll on in here, man. Let's get started. You know what? Let's get started. Let me just share my screen real quick. 1 second. Oh, my screen is already shared. Boom. Yeah, man. So, the title of the stream is Black Panther in Crisis. It's Black Panther in Crisis. Yes, I did it for clickbait. Yes, I did it to catch the views, but it's a legitimate question. Is Black Panther in Crisis? So, to start off, let's talk about the Wakanda Forever trailer. So Elvis, I'll let you begin, man. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, my initial thoughts, I think, are going to be a little bit different than a bunch of other people. What their thoughts are going to be, because outside of the tragedy of the production and Chadwick Boseman's death and all of that, that really is kind of weighing on people, and rightfully so, because it's like an anchor around this movie's like neck, no matter how you put it, like whether you're for the movie or you think the movie's on the edge. It's something that's going to have to be dealt with, and something that you have to acknowledge. But like personally, just outside of all that, because I know we're probably going to let you kind of like dig into that. I think Namor is so embarrassing. Namor is so embarrassing. I feel like so ashamed looking at Namor's design. I mean, listen to me. Like, as a Latino person, as someone who comes from like the old country, South America, the mountains, all the Inca, Maya kind of heritage, all those roots, right? Namor was never coded that way. So like to say like, oh, okay, we're bringing Namor to the MCU to live action, and we're just gonna throw like the most random, like pathetic, like Maya and Inca aesthetic and visuals and like fashion and culture, like nonsense soup onto his design for no reason. It's like, it's embarrassing.
I'm gonna be honest. With you. The whole design looks so out of place and whack that to me it's not even Namor. It's not. I feel like that's a whole different character. Like, I didn't get Namor at all. Like, for me, it's just Namor in name and like nothing else. But again, we have to see how he is in the movie, of course. But I saw it, I was like, this does nothing for me. And honestly, I would have preferred it this time around, where, bro, just straight from comic to movie adaptation when it comes to the suit. I think that would have helped it a lot more. But overall, man, I was like, what is this? What's going on? So it wasn't working for me. But like I said, who knows? Homeboy could probably knock it out the park for all we know. It's still early to judge, but yeah, that wasn't doing it for me. Um, but as for the overall trailer, I'm gonna be 100% transparent. Man, that shit was heavy. Like from the music to the visuals, just like you can feel Chadwick's absence, man. And I didn't think it would hit like that. I think the last time I felt a trailer like this, the last time I felt, such emotion with a trailer like this was, Fast Seven. And we both loved that movie. Um, but this, man, I felt it. And at the same time, too, I'm intrigued because it's like, hey, how are they gonna handle this? But the story seems interesting. It sucks that it really hit me when I saw Chadwick's face on that mural, bro, in the trailer. It hurt. It really did hurt. But I also am intrigued, and I'm also intrigued on who this possible Black Panther could be. Obviously, it could be Shuri, but other than that, man, it's sad. Like I had half a mind to go ahead and rewatch it here on stream, but I don't think I have the capacity to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it.
I mean, above anything else, it. I feel like I'm on the side that's like, that say like we should have recast. It's a shame because like you hear Kugler saying like he was ready, finished, half or almost finished writing the script, and he had to throw out that script because it was gonna be a story that was never gonna be able to be told without Chadwick. And so I'm gonna say like, respectful amount of time, and then just try to find like that kind of center. But I have to say that even someone who thinks that there should have been recast or recasting, the trailer itself is just so genuine. Like
Yeah,
you can tell like that this is such an intimate piece, like about what happened, and
yeah,
I feel like that's it's in the bones, it's in the themes, it's in the blood of this film. And so I think that as someone who's like kind of iffy on like what that means moving forward, at least for this movie, um, I think that's something that's really going for it. That's really giving it like this reason to be.
and speaking of that, too, supposedly this trailer did, I think it's like double or triple the original the original Black Panther trailer. It did double or triple that on YouTube. So obviously, despite the fact how people feel about the whole Chadwick Boseman situation, whether they want to recast or not, like people are interested, and I wholeheartedly think they're gonna do right by celebrating him. That's one thing I believe Ryan Coogler will do. I believe the cast, they're putting their best foot forward. Um, I believe the production was on point. I think I told you guys this on the podcast. I happened to run into them while they were filming Black Panther 2 in Boston. So that was a little experience there. But still, even when I was there, you know, it was kind of surreal also because like I said, they wouldn't even give me the name of the fucking movie. So obviously they were trying to keep that as tight knit as possible. But even still, just riding around MIT, while that movie was filming, it was still weird, man. Still weird. Still that somber feeling. Um, like I said, I think they're gonna do a great job celebrating Chadwick. Like I said, as for the story, I don't know, um, but I hope they do justice. I hope they do him justice. Um, but as for the whole recasting thing, I don't know if I've mentioned it here on this specific channel, but actually before I do that, let me addrss the comments here. We got Black Panther's asses on screen, of course, of course. But of course, it's the only one that we can get of the suit, so it is what it is. But thank you for pointing that out, Aki. Um, and thank you for popping up, man. I appreciate you. Merlo, what's going on? We're just talking about the trailer right now. Our initial thoughts about it, and so far we're on the same side. We just hope this movie does Chadwick justice. Um, and we hope it's a perfect, well, not perfect, we hope it's a solid celebration. But yeah, like I was gonna say, in regards to the whole recasting situation, I also believe they should have waited or continuing with this movie. But I understand at the same time, COVID happened. The world was in um, we're dealing with multiverse stuff right now, and he a T'Challa. It's not going to be our T'Challa, but it's going to be a variant, and I like that idea because I mean, if you're going to do multiverse stuff, we just had a Reed Richards from that was a variant. We had a Charles Xavier that was a variant. So why not bring in a new T'Challa? Whether that's in this movie or the next one, why not bring in a variant? I don't know. What do you think of this?
Well, I understand that, and I feel like that's been something that's been said around. Like, okay, don't worry, T'Challa will be back because there'll be a variant, or we'll see another multiverse T'Challa take up the mantle. But the thing is, right? Then there shouldn't be a Black Panther in this because at that point it becomes superfluous. And it's like if you
Mm,
could if you could bring in another T'Challa from another universe, another timeline, you know, that would work. But that you don't. But the fact you're having this movie means that
mm-hmm,
that would have less impact and less time to actually make an impact. You have to either do one or the other. So I think we would see like another T'Challa, like say in Secret Wars, like as a cameo, like for a
mm-hmm.
little scene. Maybe Shuri, if we haven't recast her, um, in Secret Wars, like and she meets a new T'Challa and they have a little heart to heart, and then
Mm-hmm,
that's like her closure, right? Or like Lupita, if she
mm-hmm,
gets her close, something like that. And then that's the book, the closing the book on T'Challa. I see that being more likely than like getting like a full movie or like a full plot of an alternate T'Challa, because that's
okay.
something you need. That's something you need to do immediately. Because right now you're like, okay, we're having a new Black Panther. That you're already going past the point of return. You can't just you know expect people to accept that and then to accept something else immediately afterward. You have to
Yeah.
plant your flag.
I mean, Secret Wars is a while away, so part of me feels like, okay, let's go ahead and put this placeholder Black Panther here, and there's it's gonna be some time before Secret Wars, so you know I think maybe people will give it some grace, because then for the terms of for the sake of the movie, you know, let's just say Marvel felt like they needed a Black Panther. You already have Shuri, you already have Lupita. Okay, for the sake of the movie, throw them in. Throw one of them into the role. Again, we don't know who is who right now, so throw one of them into the role, and then by Secret Wars, I think people will be a lot more forgiving. If that's the case. So if a brand new variant T'Challa comes up, especially if it's done right, especially if it's written correctly, I think people will be more forgiving. I personally wouldn't mind. Or option number two is, what if this is the variant? What if this T'Challa right now is the variant? I mean, you can't tell by the booty. I think they purposely put the booty there so we don't know if it's a boy or a girl. I don't know. Maybe I'm not reading it correctly, but what if this is the variant too? What if that story is implemented?
That'd be fun, but I feel like if you're selling the story on being like actually sort of doing reminiscence about Chadwick, then like having that at the very end, it would just be uh I guess a little bit tasteless. I mean, you just if you're gonna do something like that, just do a straight recasting. But like
Mm,
I think like the best option that we're overlooking here is just for the MCU to end and then to just have like a remake of Black Panther and have his own like solo adventures. Like just
well,
end the MCU and just go back to making solo movies. That's the only way. That's the only way I think we're feasibly going to get T'Challa back in a way that feels natural. You know, just
hold
ending
on.
the MCU.
I have a question for you. Let's answer some of these comments. So Aki said, why not just say T'Challa got caught up in a blast and had to do the old plastic surgery or some shit? Multiverse BS is annoying. Um,
I agree.
yeah, I can
I,
see that not going over well. That's the problem. Because I can see people just saying something along the lines of, "Oh, that's lazy. That's tasteless." You know, he should have a better going out. You know, I can see that. Um, and also, reason why I wouldn't mind it's they could have a scene like that. Like we don't have to try. Chadwick's not here, but you can just have somebody in the Black Panther suit. We know it's him, and show that scene, and T'Challa gone, because I figure they're gonna say what happened to him. I don't. Rumors is that he's sick. I don't know, um, but
oh,
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't
yeah.
mind that.
I hope you forgive me, bro. Okay, you know how I am. You know how we are. What if he got caught up in um in the Morbius portal? Right?
What do
He got, he
you
got he
mean?
got he got sent to the Venomverse along with Vulture. All right.
Oh my god. I mean, I wasn't expecting that, bro. I was not expecting that. I mean, you know what? If it's written correctly, why not? Fuck it.
I mean,
Since
I've seen so many people out there saying Secret Wars needs to have this and that and that, and like y'all were just complaining about Vulture showing up and crossing over Morbius two months ago. All right, you know why? Now you're all for like multiverse shenanigans, explaining away whatever cameos you want. You know, something's gotta give.
I wouldn't be mad at. I wouldn't be mad at that. You know what? As long as it's written well. As long as it's written well. Oh, let's see here. Patty said, "Good Burger did more for Black people in Holland." What, Patty? What? I don't, Patty,
Holland,
what the fuck? In Holland, Patty, what the fuck, man? Um, Elvis says, Merla says, Elvis makes a good point about people not accepting changing of actors for iconic characters. Like people are still being hard headed about changing Wolverine.
yeah, I will say one thing is that at least with Wolverine, you're seeing less of that nowadays because at least Wolverine's character had like an ending, like
Yeah.
yeah, he had a complete arc throughout like 6 or 7 movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people are okay with there being a new Wolverine. Now, personally, as a big Fox X-Men fanboy booster kind
Mm-hmm.
of guy, I just bring X-23 in. I mean, the actress is now like in her late teens. The actress who played her in Logan. Just,
Yeah.
just bring her in. Who gives a shit? We don't need a Wolverine.
She got the chops.
I mean, she's Wolverine. So we don't need a Logan. We don't need a Logan.
No. And I think it makes sense also. I know we're probably like sidetracking. I think it makes sense also because again, Marvel is all about diversity now. I think X-23 is a pretty established character in regards to fans. They have X-23 as Wolverine running around in the X books right now. And also too, while we're not seeing that same annoyance about somebody new playing Wolverine, um, I on the flip side too, I feel that both the fans and probably Marvel feel like they had their Wolverine with Hugh Jackman. So those are just big shoes to fill. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're, dragging their feet with that shit because they're still on the fence. Like, do we want to bring somebody in or do we not? So X-23 is a good cop out, so to speak. At least that's what I think.
I mean, yeah, unless you want to like start from like level one with the X-Men. Like I feel like that's gonna be the
Mm,
biggest thing about bringing the X-Men into the MCU is that you're starting from scratch, and like who wants to see this shit start from scratch? Like the original Fox and X-Men universe. Now you might say like, oh, it didn't do this, it didn't do that. And like you had X-Men team against Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. You had Sentinels. You had time travel. You had aliens. You had
mm-hmm.
Deadpool doing fourfold jokes. You had Old Man Logan. You had all this insane, yeah, pockets, all this stuff. Who wants to start from scratch? You know? So
Yeah,
bring X-23 in. Pretend that there's like a long history. Just jump ahead. Who cares?
yeah, no, and I think people want. I think that's what a lot of people want. It's like just jump into the story. Let's just say the X Men already established. All right, they were just often Krakoa. I think right now it's. I'm gonna say, it, bro, Krakoa is a perfect scapegoat. Perfect scapegoat. They were hiding here. Now they wanted to come back. The end. And there was an X-23 running around. Um, they couldn't explain something for Logan, and boom, you have your X Men. But yeah, I do agree also because Wolverine had us closing. Here, it's technically a closing. Is it a closing that we like? No. But again, that's where I see this is tricky territory. But thank you for the comment, Merlo. He has another one too. He said, saw one theory about in the movie there being multiple Panthers, which I like. Like we know multiple suits exist. Hmm. That's another tricky one. For me, that's another tricky one. Um
I would like that. I think that would make sense. I think it's mostly because like you know, if the movie is less about T'Challa and more about like the community of Wakanda, that would fit in really well. It's called Wakanda Forever. It's like now it's if there's not a Black Panther, then it needs to be Wakanda united that has to protect themselves. So
mm,
that makes sense. I would agree with that. But he also mentions in the next comment, like talking about Shuri, Nakia, and Baku. And I said this a long time. I said this back when Black Panther came out, and we were talking about it. Um, was that with M'Baku, it'd be so like I know they like really downplayed like his insanely racist comic stuff,
hmm
but like I feel like with the way they're making like the Black Panther suits look in the MCU, it'd be really easy to get like a gorilla themed Black Panther suit. And I think that they're cool looking enough
mm.
that it wouldn't be as racist as the original design is.
I don't know if that's a line they want to tote though. That's the
I
thing.
mean, like, in the Black Panther movie, he has like a tribal gorilla mask on for like 10 seconds. So I think they could get away with it if it looked cool enough.
You know what? Depending on because of who they have in the movie, like working on the movie, maybe they could get away with it. Because then again, you can always use the scapegoat of it's culture. It's rooted in culture. There you go.
I mean, they're using that
Um,
for Namor, and I think he's insanely racist looking. Jesus
oh
Christ,
Jesus
Namor's
Christ! Oh,
design sucks so much. Jesus Christ.
I'm glad I didn't pull up a picture of no more. Um, hold on, we got another person here, Baba T. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. And he says they should have replaced Chadwick. Yeah, man. I think so too. I think so too. Let's see here. There was there was something else I wanted to bring up. It's kind of on the vein of multiple black. Wait, hold on. Is there somebody up? Wait, hold on. Hey Jay. Hey.
All right, I'll field Merlot's question for a bit. You missed this because you came in a little bit late, but you know, as a character, Namor has never been like associated with like with Latin or South American kind of cultures. And
Mm-hmm.
as a South American who has like roots, my family, my ancestors come from like the mountains, mountain villages, like all like Mayan kind of roots. Um, it's so weird to have this character who has nothing to do with Mayan or South American cultures, like then get translated to like a live action format, and then destroying whatever random ass bullshit aesthetic like that's like homaging and just ripping off that culture onto him. Like, for what purpose? Every time I see it, like him in the trailer or a picture of that design, I feel so embarrassing. Like it feels so embarrassing. I feel like douche chills on my arms. Like ugh. Um, because like Namor has had like decades of really cool, unique designs. So if they want to use like a modern design, just use whatever something from the comic. He has like his Emperor design. He has like his Warrior design with the black like arms, black shielding on the arms. They use any of those kinds of ones. I don't see what the purpose of like, oh, let's just riff on like Mayan, Aztec, Incan tropes and cliches. It's disgusting. Sorry, Merlot, but I'm not saying that. Good question. Good question, but like I just hate Namor's design so much.
I kind of wonder whose decision was it? Like, who made that call? because I feel like, bro, the Namor suit that we know and are familiar with, it's it's fine. Like I don't get it unless they're gonna wait a while for him to actually get the suit. But I don't get
He
it.
has like he has like coral gauges in his nose. It's awful. It's awful.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I yeah, no, I'll save that comment for later. Oh, but AJ, can you hear us, brother? AJ, I swear he probably might have the same issue that Blackwing had. Um, hold on, give us me a sec. Aki said, "Bruh, at that point, it's just Black Panther Power Rangers team." Oh yeah, he's Aki's just mentioning multiple people having the Black Panther suit. Um,
It's funny because in a comic, an Elseworlds Marvel comic kind of thing,
mhm.
there was a joke in it that, where like in this universe, the Black Panther is the leader of like who leads like the Red Panther, the Blue Panther, the Pink Panther, the Yellow Panther. They have a Black Panther Megazord, so that actually did happen in Marvel once.
I think for the theme of the movie Wakanda Forever, now I'm thinking about it, like you mentioned, it would work, and it would have to be a one-time thing. You can only do this once, just for the sake of the movie. We're celebrating Black Panther, we're celebrating T'Challa. There's multiple suits. This one time for the big climactic battle, whether it's against a Namor or whoever else, let's do it. Free for all, whoever it is, whether it's Shuri and Baku. Um, I keep forgetting Lupita's character's name. Whoever else, let's just say three or four. I think the audience will let it slide by. I think MCU stands and fans will let it slide by, and I think us together we could let it slide by, but it has to be a one and done thing, and then you either establish whoever the main Black Panther is, or like we mentioned before, bring in multiverse T'Challa. But good comment, good comment. Let's see here. So I kind of wish that AJ's mic was working, because hold
He's
on,
passionate.
yeah, because I kind of wanted to shift the conversation a little bit to something that he and a lot of other people have been speculating. But actually, let's move on to this first. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen because we did get a report today that there is a Black Panther video game that's
Oh,
reportedly in the works. So give me a second while I bring up that article. Um, so I kind of wanted to dissect this. And hold on, let me see here. I think AJ might be able to join us. Yo, AJ, what's up?
Can y'all hear me now?
Now we can hear
yes.
you.
Okay, good.
All right, perfect. You came in just in time. So I was just talking about the new article that came out today. So supposedly there is a Black Panther game in development, and mind you, this is a rumor.
Yeah.
Nothing is
Hello?
it says as for in regards to the story, Grubb also teased that it has quite a bit associated with what will be seen in the upcoming Black Panther Wakanda Forever. In short, the narrative is set to start with the original Black Panther being dead. From here, players must look to take on the mantle as a new character that steps into the role. It wasn't made clear that whether or not T'Challa will be the playable version of Black Panther in the game or not, though. So, you know, let me start off by first asking, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off by saying I'm taking this with a big grain of salt. Why? Because one, you know, this article is coming out at a very convenient time where the conversation around the fandom is, hey, it looks like they're trying to, replace T'Challa in every single form of medium. You know, obviously the movie, um, the comic book as well, which we will talk about. I'll let AJ take that. Um, and it seems like they're actively trying to get us to detach from T'Challa and put somebody new in the role, which obviously people were not happy about. So that's why I'm taking this with a grain of salt, because it feels like it's this article or these reports are feeding into that narrative just for clicks. I'm always skeptical about people doing shit for clicks, and I feel like this right here is very convenient. It's a nice way to gain traction, and again, it's reportedly. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
Uh, I think that's definitely a possibility that, hey, this is 4 clicks. I wouldn't be surprised. The As far as the game being in development, that's been rumored for a while. Insomniac, when they first did the Spider-Man game, they were saying, hey, Marvel had a plan for a number of games, not just developed by them, but by other studios to come forth, because how they have the Marvel Cinematic Universe now, they want a Marvel gaming universe. And eventually, a lot of those games will have some form of connections down the line. So the Black Panther game being in development, that part is probably definitely true. Uh, the development team, with it being EA, they're they love their kind of microtransaction based open world. Hey, maybe we can get some creative characters going in here. I hope that's not what's happening here. I would hope T'Chaka is the Black Panther at the start of this game, if it is true that it would be T'Chaka and he gets killed off, and you play a young T'Challa having to step into that role.
Mm-hmm.
That's best case scenario. I'm a cynical person by nature, so I never uh, put much stock in the best case scenario. And with the way that Marvel's handling T'Challa in various mediums right now, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets killed off in the game. They already took him off the throne in the Avengers game. I could
Oh,
see this
really?
just yeah, he's still king, but Shuri is the queen regent, right? Like T'Challa has nothing to do with overseeing and ruling Wakanda at the moment. He was going to join the Avengers and just focus on that. So they've already taken him off the throne there. We see what's happening in the movies. Like you said, we'll get into the comics later, but if you read the solicits for upcoming Black Panther stuff, it's kind of the same thing. A lot of this reeks of corporate synergy just starting to really rear its head in the Black Panther franchise, more so than it's done in other franchises within the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope it's not true. Man, this is like blow after blow after blow for fans of T'Challa in very quick succession. So, uh, uh, you know, I've made my thoughts known about it. If anybody wants to find out, you can check my Twitter. It's not good right now for T'Challa.
What
What
about
gets
you,
me
man?
most, what gets me like tight is people who are like saying, "Oh, you're just being paranoid," when like Marvel has a
Okay.
history, like
Yes,
decade-spanning history of doing this. As like just remember when all that merch from Marvel Universe came out, and it got rid of all the X-Men characters
yes,
or all the original art, like
Mm,
it was off of lunchboxes, shirts, like posters. They were just erasing the X-Men from every single thing. So like no, it's totally something that Marvel would do.
I mean, if I'm somebody who's not as connected to what's happening, for me, I think, oh shit, I get to be Black Panther, which if you're playing a video game, why wouldn't you want to create your own character and run around as your favorite hero? I think that to create my own roster of Digimon. That's fucking awesome. So in that sense, why not? Um, but again, at the same time too, I like the disconnect between movies and video games and comic books. Like if T'Challa is, you know, supposedly being, killed off and whatnot in the movies, I would like to pick up a different medium where T'Challa is just fine, and whether it's a comic book or a video game. So I don't like synergy in regards to that. Like if you want to put out a Black Panther movie and a Black Panther game and a Black Panther comic book at the same time, great. But I would prefer they all have their own separate story. But this whole trickle down effect of, oh, he's dead. Okay, so we're gonna remove him from here. When we have this video game, we're gonna move him here. So that's where I'm at from two sides. I can see objectively how this works and doesn't work, but if I'm gonna pick a side, I don't like the trickle down effect. I don't like it at all. It stinks, and it doesn't paint a good image, especially for diehard fans of T'Challa or Black Panther. Let's see here. Oh, hold on. We got some. Hey, you want to say something?
Nah, go ahead. Wait, that's it? Right. Yeah, I took my stuff off mute.
Hold on. We got Second Street Marvel in the building. Brother, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming through, man. Thank you for coming through. But in the same vein of supposedly removing T'Challa away from video games and movies and comics, let's talk about the comics part. And I kind of want to let AJ take over on that side. Just give me a second while I go ahead and switch my screen. Give me a second here. I'm gonna bring up the Black Panther image because supposedly there's some trickle down effect here happening. 1 second. Apologize, guys. Right. All right. So AJ, you want to tell us what's happening with the Black Panther comics, man?
Sure. Right now, the current Black Panther run is being written by John Ridley. We just had issue 7, I believe. Yeah, issue 7. That came out. When was that? Give me a sec. I think it was it was earlier this month on the 6th. Okay, so Ridley's run, it starts off decent enough. I had problems with it in the beginning, but it wasn't stuff that I just could not overlook. Somebody had been in Wakanda, had been assassinated. He gets into T'Challa having plans and spies all over the world, and it's basically a secret that T'Challa has kept from a lot of his people. He's kept it from his sister, kept it from his mother. He's kept it from the new government because, Wakanda is no longer a monarchy. It's a constitutional monarchy, but he doesn't determine the direction in which the country goes at this point. That's something that happened, and at the end of Coates's run, which it was. I'm a fan of Coates's run. I understand people had problems with it, but T'Challa was at least handled mostly better there than it is here. Mm-hmm. In this run, the longer things went on, all right, the worse it starts to get. He doubled down on breaking him and Storm up. I've never been huge on that relationship one way or another. I can take it or leave it, but the ways that he's done it, it's doubling down on just, hey, let's paint T'Challa as a shitty husband, a shitty spouse, a shitty lover, whatever state he and Storm are in right now. I don't know how they're technically defining it. But then it goes into, hey, let's continue just dumbing down T'Challa. Let's have him. It's bad, guys. I'm trying to put into words just why it's bothering me so. First off, his Wakandans don't sound like any. They sound like Americans, to tell you the truth. His, T'Challa, and he's the head of a galactic empire now. Wakanda stretches beyond just Wakanda on Earth now. There's a Wakandan empire. The stuff that's kind of coming into conflict with what the X-Men are doing in space right now. Ridley seems to be doing whatever there. But the big thing is the end of last issue. T'Challa, he's been getting punked by his own people. They're trying to kill him. So they really introduces this new character, Tosin. And now apparently he's supposed to be like T'Challa, but better. He's like, hey, I've come up with a way to utilize vibranium organically in a way as opposed to doing it technologically, how T'Challa, Shuri, and all the other Wakandans do. So it's like, hey, let's take T'Challa, but let's make him better and let's downplay the actual character of T'Challa. If you read the solicits going forward, like next month, I think T'Challa, they're exiling T'Challa. Tosin's going to come in and he's gonna lead the charge against the factions of the Wakandan government that are trying to assassinate T'Challa at the moment. They're setting this guy up to save the day. I'm withholding judgment completely until next month's issue comes out, so I can see how it's handled. But Marvel has already told us, hey, we're going to force T'Challa out of his own country. We're not going to be focusing on him in the. I don't even know if the Black Panther book is continuing. It might be ending because issue 7 ends with Marvel's dreaded to be concluded. So they usually do that when something has been a stealth miniseries the entire time, and they just tell you before the end that, hey, yeah, we're going to cancel this book, but we're only going to let you know a month in advance. And I don't have the solicits up in front of me, but I think they have 2 Wakandan-centered books coming out within the next few months. Neither of them are going to sound like they are looking too kindly on T'Challa. They're basically focusing on, hey, the Wakandan people can do a better job with you out of the picture. I know Aaron is supposed to be doing something with him in his last run of Avengers, so with his last volume of his Avengers run, I should say. So maybe they're clearing the board of him for something there. But look, the run is bad, but I could deal with it if they weren't treating the character so poorly in other areas. Now it just feels like this is another puzzle piece that can point to the picture of Marvel saying, hey, we need to de-emphasize this character. We know he's a character that a lot of people like. We had an influx of new fans in 2016 after the character debuted in the MCU, and now the actor who has played him has sadly passed. And, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot by coming out so soon after his death saying that, hey, we won't recast him. So now to me anyway, it just feels like they're saying, hey, let's just clear the board of this character for a while. Now, I don't believe that they'll never recast the character, but it feels like they're saying, hey, let's get this character off of the board for a bit. Let's focus on other aspects of Wakanda and just have T'Challa out, in limbo. Which T'Challa not being the center of Wakandan lore and the universe, that could be fine if you were doing something with him in other places. But it just feels like they're taking him off the board clearly across all of their different mediums. Like I said, I told you what they did to him in the Avengers game. We see this report, which as of right now is a rumor, but the report of what's going on or potentially going on in the game being developed around him. You see what's happening in the comics, and now the movie, it just doesn't feel great as someone who's a fan of the character. But, I am fully 100% ready to admit that, hey, I could be reading too much into this. I have an emotional connection to this character. He is probably in my top 3 favorite Marvel heroes. I can absolutely say I'm too connected to this. And, if I'm wrong, I will love to be wrong. And I will be the first one to admit I am wrong. If there comes a time when I'm proven to be, just right now, it doesn't feel great as a fan, So that's where I am at the moment.
Yeah. I think part of it too is you know, I want to watch my words here. I want to watch it so bad. Like it feels like a bad troll. Like it feels like purposely misleading
Yeah,
to the point where just like everything is just lining up the way it is, and then for all we know, for all we know, bro, Black Panther's gonna be fine in the comics. This game may or may not even come out, and if it does come out, everything is fine. But right now, it's it feels like it could be a nasty troll, but at the same time, like Elvis mentioned before, you know, whenever Fox, whatever was happening with Fox and Marvel, bro, they got the
hmm
X-Men out of here. They did so much to push the Inhumans,
bro. They drug the
and
X-Men through the dirt for over a decade, bro. There's a reason why when Hickman took over in 2019, those X-Men numbers shot through the roof, bro. It was the best the characters had been in what was that, 2019? So nigga, almost 20, no, not a decade, almost 20 years, bro. Like Marvel, when they get an idea in their head to just shit on one of their characters, they will stick to that gun for the
oh yeah.
longest period of time.
We got one comment here. Second Street Marvel said writers hating the characters they're writing is just so hot right now.
Yes, absolutely.
Not lying, not lying. You're not lying. And Ridley is love him or hate him. Like I said, I'm a fan of dude, but I also recognize the flaws. I
Yeah,
recognize the flaws so much.
yeah. Like I'm a fan of his other work. Like at DC when he did the other history of the DC universe, like yo, that shit was fire. I I'm pretty with him on what he's doing with Jace Fox, especially after catching up on the current run. So I'm with him there. This going on in this Black Panther book, man. Like, nah, bro. He is like I don't know if he's just following directions from corporate or what, but it is bad. It is all bad.
Yeah. So I, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to take it honestly, because like I'm not reading the run. I read the first three issues. I thought they were great. I mean, again, it's nothing against him. I just didn't pick up the Black Panther book. But
Hmm.
I don't know. It sucks to hear. It sucks to hear that there's a trickle down effect, man. Because I feel like this is different than the Fox thing, bro. It's just like this ain't no two entities beefing with each other because somebody got the rights. It's like,
Yeah,
bro, somebody died, but the character still exists. So why are we doing this? If I feel like right now he should be celebrated. Like I said, Wakanda Forever seems like it's going to be a celebration. Right now in the Black Panther arc, we should be celebrating T'Challa.
hmm
We should be seeing him, being propped up, especially since the movie is right around the corner. So it's real weird behavior, but again, it could just be a very bad troll. But then again, Kevin Feige is controlling everything creative, so I don't know.
and that
I
is
really
the
don't know.
biggest mistake that they ever did, man. Y'all should have let that man stay in his little MCU corner. And don't get me wrong, man. Sabolsky, he hasn't been, he has numerous problems over there at Marvel from the Akira Yoshido stuff on down. But dog, if I'm telling you, and it's not happening with just T'Challa. There's been other instances of corporate synergy going on with characters that he's pushed to the forefront of the MCU. It's just this one is going to be aggressively bad because the actor has died. But it's not the first time he's done it. Look no further than the Guardians of the Galaxy. They are complete up until this last run. They got a little bit off, but they have been made like the movie. They have been trying to capture that movie magic for the longest, and that is
Mhm.
not what the Guardians were for years. And then Gunn came, gave them a hit, and they said, "Hey, let's replicate all of this in the books." And it if MCU heads were going into their comic shops every week and picking up the books, I could at least understand it. But we know that's not the case Every time we look at sales charts, if these comic book movie fans were supporting comics, the industry would be in a lot stronger place right now. So I don't get the pandering to the crowd. It is what it is. Maybe I can't see it for emotional attachment reasons. Maybe he has a plan, but I just doubt it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he could not. Um, and what's the crazy part is like for me, it feels like it's. I hate to say it, but it's almost like too early to tell.
Hmm.
It feels a little too early to tell on my hand. So it's definitely a delicate situation. But I didn't get your thoughts on well, you were still trying to come in, but what did you think about the trailer, the Wakanda Forever trailer?
And that's the thing. The trailer is beautiful, dog. Like that. If I could take the T'Challa part out of it, if I could remove that from the equation, I would fully admit to y'all that trailer is fire, bro. I can tell Coogler did his thing. I just can't enjoy what I'm seeing, dog, because
Mm-hmm.
the way that they're doing this character, and it hurts because I want to support Coogler. I was talking to somebody in real life, and I was like, not in real life, but like off the timeline, I'm like, yo, I don't know if I'm gonna go see that movie in theaters, dog. I don't know if I want to give them money for that. Like I might catch it on Disney Plus, and that's you know I'm I think I saw the first one like 4 times in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
This time I might not go once, and that's sad to say, but the way they're that they've gone about this whole thing since Chadwick's passing, it doesn't leave a good taste in my mouth.
Well, Elvis, what about you, man? Like, I don't know if I asked you this question, but are you going to see the movie in theaters?
Probably not. But that's mainly because like unless someone like really dragged me to it, I'm trying to stay away from theaters. I wanted to go only. I went to
Mm-mm.
say nope because my brother was like, "Come on, come on, come on," and I'm like, "Oh, fine. I'm not doing anything today." And I'm glad I saw that. But like in general, I don't think that any MCU movie is going to be as worth it. Like even though like of course it's gonna be a very kind of loving movie. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
when the trailer's gonna be like a very sort of heartfelt movie. On the whole, I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna take that hit for an MCU movie.
Mm, yeah.
Nah,
I
I definitely understand that, especially with the way COVID just won't seem to leave us. Theater is not the smartest place to be, and I took that risk for Love and Thunder, and I wish I hadn't. So, you know, um, so yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be in the theater for this one. I just might wait till it hits Disney Plus.
I I'm gonna be the odd guy out. I'm I don't watch MCU movies in the theaters for multiple reasons. I mean, I'll only do it if I'm with a group of people and the plan is to go watch it.
Hmm.
Um, or I don't know. I'm very picky. I'm very picky with MCU movies. I know Merlo was here, so he invited me to see Love and Thunder, but I purposely just chose not to go see it because it's Thor and I don't
It
I
was a
don't.
smart decision, bro.
Yeah. But I think for this movie, I'll once again break that chain because I think that's something I have to see. I have to see how they celebrate Homeboy in the
Hmm.
theater. I have to see it. Like that's for me, it's almost like Endgame again. I feel like Endgame was an experience. It wasn't a good movie, but it was a good experience because we got to see the finale of the MCU, in theaters, in this massive space, everybody else. So I feel like I owe it that. I feel like Chadwick is owed this moment. Um, and also too, like his wife just did a wonderful thing. We can touch on that a little bit. His wife made it so that his folks,
Yeah, I
has
saw
a
that
piece of his estate. So
because
I'm
he didn't
like,
have a
bro,
he died without a will.
he died without a will. So I'm like, you know what, bro? Like, my money may not be much in the grand scheme of things, but I want to give a little something to some mom and papa,
Yeah,
Bozeman. You know what I'm saying? Give something back to his wife. Give something back to his kids. Like I said,
I don't know
I'm
that
just
that
a
may
small
that may
person,
have to
but
be how I have to look at it to get me into the
yeah,
theater.
man. So I think for that, it's worth it. Um, so that's why I'm gonna go see it, man. Before I saw the trailer, I was like, nah, I'm good, bro. I'll watch it on Disney Plus or watch on 1 2 3 movies. But because of the significance, bro, I'll go watch it, man. I'll go watch it. Sega Street Marvel said in 2019 that the Swastika Sisters wrote one of the best comics Marvel ever published in a Black Widow No Restraints play, and then made it a 5 issue mini, and then now we have an ongoing with Kelly Thompson. I think this was a reply to how Marvel likes to stealth
Yeah.
cancel titles and shit.
Hell, we don't even have the Kelly Thompson ongoing anymore. They canceled that one and didn't tell anybody for 3 months. But yeah, that's Marvel's MO at this point.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like I said, it's sad to see the trickle down effect. I think that's what's always gonna bother me. It bothers me what's happening in the comics. Um, but I think at the end of it all, I think I just want a solid, very 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 solid celebration of Chadwick. And I don't know. Let's have a little fun, honestly, man. Like, how well you think this movie going to be received, box office wise and critically? Elvis, you go first.
It's got to make 800 million minimum. I mean, if Love and Thunder can do that, it's going to clear that immensely.
Hell, Love and Thunder might not hit that. To be
Well, yeah,
honest,
I already thought it was.
no, I think. Let me give me a sec. Let me look it up. Nah, I know what you're talking about. When that report about like it made 700 million in
Yeah.
like a week or so came. Nah, they had to update that real quick. Give me a sec. Love and Thunder right now has made 598.7 million.
Oh, what a shit
Which
peak.
is still nothing to sneeze at. Like, so I don't want folks to think I'm saying it's flopping or anything, but it's I don't think it's going to catch Ragnarok, but I could be wrong on that. Yeah, 598.7 million on a $250 million budget. Um, a lot of these MCU movies right now, they're not seeing the same type of box office results as before. No Way Home being the exception. Now, obviously, most of these films have the 45-day before streaming rule, so that's definitely playing a part. When with the case of Black Panther with Wakanda Forever, excuse me, that movie is. I'm going to be the one to say it is not going to do as well as the first. Um,
Hmm.
Let me see what that first one made. I think it was like 1.2 or 1.3. Give me a second.
I have a yeah. You find that um,
The first film
I
made
mhm.
1,348 million dollars. I think this one's going to come in anywhere from like 850 to 950 probably. And see, I can already see folks setting the play up now as for who to blame when the film doesn't perform as well. Critically, I think it's it's
Wait, hold on.
Coogler.
Repeat that again, brother.
Yeah,
What's the
I'm
play?
saying I can already see the play that folks are setting up as
Mm-hmm.
far as who to blame when the film doesn't
Mm,
perform as well financially. Right, the first it's going to be all the folks screaming to recast T'Challa is going to be like, hey, maybe they soured some of the audience on seeing this film. I already see the seeds of that being planted by
mm,
folks, some black media heads, and then the blue check marks on Twitter, and folks are taking that
yeah.
and starting to run with it. Um, then you got a few weirdos out here being like, and I'm not talking about folks who are making jokes about it, but folks legitimately are have a problem with seeing so many women in the film, and a lot of that is happening to be
Uh,
coming from dudes right now, specifically us black dudes. So I think we're gonna catch a little bit of heat if that film doesn't do as well. So I'm just getting folks ready for that right now. Critically, I think it'll be on the higher end of critic ratings. Probably the first one was like a 90 something on Rotten Tomatoes. I predict this one probably being somewhere in that neighborhood, might be a couple of points lower because I'm sorry, you're doing a Black Panther story without, you know, Black Panther. I don't think you're gonna be able to tell as clean of a story as the first one. But I don't think it should be detrimental to the film in a drastic way.
Yeah. I'm thinking box office wise, a little short of a billion, maybe even lower, maybe lower, because I don't know, maybe even lower than that. First of all, we have those reports. I don't know how. Again, we always say this. I always like to preface this by saying, bro, a lot of online chatter doesn't matter in real life. But
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people who are giving Letitia Wright a lot of shit for supposedly having some opposing views on COVID. I don't know
Mm,
how that's going to play a role. It may or may not play a role. I don't know. I already see the jokes starting to fly. Like right after the fucking trailer dropped. Oh, y'all about to have a Black Panther that I don't believe in vaccines.
yeah.
So
Well,
I
I will say online chatter hurt Lightyear. Say what
mm,
you want about conservatives. When they decide to boycott some shit, they boycott some shit, bro. Um, so yeah, that movie was struggling at the box office. So I can see them going up for Letitia because she was anti-vaccine for the longest. So which
ah
it doesn't matter in the long run because she ended up taking it. Like I hate to tell y'all if folks believe she stuck to her guns. She went home at a time when it was required for anybody coming to the United States to get the vaccine, and she ended up back here in Atlanta filming that movie. So I hate to tell
yep,
y'all guys, she got vaccinated. So
she got vexed.
I'm
So
sure they threw her some extra money on top of her bag to do it, but she did get that vax. Please believe it.
oh, she did. So I think that will play a role. Um, but also on the flip side, I think there's probably a lot of people here who feel the same way I do about, they probably want to give back to Chadwick, his family.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're not struggling financially. I know that for sure. But I think a lot of people, especially people in the Black community, they probably want to show up, for the family. They want to show up for the wife, the kids, the parents. So I think maybe they could let go of some of their initial thoughts just so they can support the family. So I think that will help it. Um,
yeah,
and also too, I mean, death brings people to the movie theaters, man. I think Elvis, correct me if I'm wrong, but Fast Seven right now is still it's still one of the highest Fast and Furious movies that's out right now. Granted, Paul Walker did film some of the scenes, but his brother took over for the rest, and did the CGI. But I still think death in general is something that will bring people to the movie theaters. And I think just regardless, people love T'Challa, so they're very curious to see, even if it's a way they don't like, they're still curious to see how they're going to close that out. So I think death definitely will be, you know, uh, something that will help it. So I take that statement back, maybe a little over. I want to say a little under a billion, a little under. That's my hypothesis.
yeah. I can see that. I could see it.
Yeah. Um, but also speaking of which, do y'all, just to wrap up, to touch back on the Letitia Wright thing, do y'all think is it for her? Do y'all think like this is her last movie and they gonna kick her to the curb, or we think she's gonna stick around? Because I know we had a lot of hypotheses, um, and on the podcast about where she could land, but what do you guys think? Do you think this is it, or they might
Uh,
keep her around?
this from what I've heard, people I talked to at Tyler Perry studio when it was filming, they said that she probably won't be Black Panther for more than one movie. Now, after I saw the trailer, I that made a little more sense to me. I don't think they're gonna get rid of her, but yeah, I don't think she's gonna be in the role of the Black Panther after this movie because it looks like they're setting her up as the griot um, for future film. That's something that happens in Coates' run, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she takes on another identity. I think that's probably what's going to happen. As far as future films in the Black Panther franchise, I think maybe her role gets lessened, especially because yeah, Marvel was upset with her, but she was kind of throwing barbs back at them in the beginning on social media and stuff. Talking about how they wanted her to uh, try to force her to conform as far as the vaccine and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely maybe see that relationship not being as strong as it was on the first film,
Mm.
and maybe both of them decide, hey, yeah, I'll stick around, but I don't want to have as large of a commitment to you all as I've had before.
Okay.
We'll see what happens though, but that could be something I see going on.
Elvis, what about you? Because I know you had some strong opinions on that on the podcast as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, I feel like, unlike with Gina Carano, who just kept doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling down,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
um, like after like the first couple of like like, oh, vaccines are Luciferian satanic magic that are gonna eat our souls, shit that Letitia Wright said, she quieted down a lot, and I think she's keeping her head down. So I think that she'll just still be around. As for whether or not she'll still be if she'll still be the Black Panther, I think yes. Like I said, I don't think there's a real natural way for them to get in a new T'Challa, especially if T'Challa is dead. I don't think there's going to be a real
Mm.
natural way. So I feel like as long as she keeps her head down and she doesn't like continue to say insane stuff, Disney will just assume it's blown over.
Ah, okay. All right. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I think she'll be fine also. Um, Again, I think she's gone real quiet, and I remember there was even a statement that she put out not too long ago. I think it was like as early this year actually, where she denied a lot of those rumors, where she said, "Yeah, this was not me." It could be bullshit, but she denied the rumors, and she probably ended up conforming. Like maybe somebody threw her the bag. I don't know. Maybe this could be her only bag, and she decided, hey, let me shut up. I don't know. Something could have happened. Um, do I see her being Black Panther? Yes, I see her being Black Panther. Um, but again, like I said, there's a multiverse right now, and AJ missed it when I mentioned it. But um, she could be Black Panther for a period. There could be this movie. They could have multiple Black Panthers in this movie, and then they bring in you know variant T'Challa, which is a brand new actor, and they can move on from there. But I think she'll be fine. Again, we also have to put this into perspective too, bro. And I may get a lot of flack for this, but people aren't taking COVID as seriously as before. You know
No,
what I'm
they're not.
saying?
That's why he's coming back with a vengeance.
So now I think maybe people's opinions are, a little bit, more lessened. Yes, it's still going on. Yes, it's still rampaging through the streets, but at the same time too, just like people aren't so gung ho about it anymore. So I my take on, but I don't know. It's weird times, very tricky. Um, but yeah, I think Letitia Wright will be fine. I think she'll make a good Black Panther. You know, representation is a thing. You can cash in on that, and it'll probably sell some good merch. Even if it's for a little while, and you move on to the next. You move on to the next. But AJ, so I was going to ask you too. How do you feel about the idea of a variant T'Challa running around at the end of this movie? Well, at the
I,
end of this movie or sometime in Secret Wars.
I mean, I think that's the simplest way to do it. We've known forever that the MCU is going to introduce the multiverse. That's why when came out and was like, "Hey, we're never gonna recast this character," well, we're not gonna recast this character. Excuse me. That statement felt like an unforced error. We knew that there were a number of ways y'all could get another T'Challa into the MCU. He should have just like, hey, said, hey, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna let everybody mourn. We're gonna let everybody grieve, come to peace with Chadwick's passing, and yeah, even do the sequel to the first film, and don't have T'Challa in the movie, and then you introduce whatever concept you're going to use to bring a new actor into the role. So yeah, multiverse has always made the most sense. I don't like if I can see that sitting here, just dicking around on the computer and come up with that. You mean to tell me the guy in charge of the greatest film of not the greatest, I don't want to say that, but the highest grossing film franchise in existence couldn't come up with that idea? Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, much much agreed. Much agreed. And I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason why initially. I'm of two minds. Maybe it was a knee jerk reaction, and then right after that they probably realized, oh, we're getting a bunch of backlash, and then they started really going heavy with the multiverse shit. So then they could be like, oh, okay, cool, we could bring in a variant, or it's just, yeah, I think that's what it is. Maybe it's just a knee jerk. They realize they fucked up. Let's do multiverse. Bring in somebody new. In a way, that way you can be respectful in a sense. Give people time to mourn, and when you introduce multiverse, people love seeing multiple characters run around, bro. And like I said, as long as the story is good, you'll be fine. But I do like that idea. So, like I said, my prediction is at the end of, maybe if it's Secret Wars, or maybe they tease something at the end of Wakanda Forever, bro. Just bring somebody, bring a variant in, and you roll from there. But get me something to eat. But I felt like this was a good conversation that needed to be had, and I'm glad that you two fellas were able to join me. Like as always, it's always a good time. But you guys, a second, to plug yourselves. Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, as always, you all can find me on Twitter at Mr. underscore Mitchell underscore the number two underscore the letter U. Find me giving hot takes, a lot of them bad, at any given time, or you can, as of the last couple of days, find me talking about how stupid it is to treat your greatest black character the way that Marvel Comics is currently treating him. But that's where you can find me.
Episode about.
You can find me on my YouTube channel on Source All Radio and on Twitter at THE_SNICKMAN, where I will always give the most correct Marvel opinions.
Oh boy, here we go. And you guys already know the deal. Y'all can find me on Roliver Queen underscore on Twitter. I don't know why it's not going. Yeah, y'all can find Roliver Queen underscore. Y'all. As always, I'm talking about comics. I'm talking about Pretty Feet. And just spreading this love and peace, man. Spreading this love and peace. And while we're here, we are coming back. The Comics Code Authority is coming back for a third. Comic Code Authority is coming. Please, please, please go follow our Twitter page. We will be a little bit more active. So look out for some heavy promo. We have, I believe, 30 episodes up. That's combined with season 1 and season 2. So please go check us out. Like I said, if y'all looking for some flavor in the comic book podcast space, we got y'all, man. Like listen, there's a lot of unseasoned podcasts out there. Y'all been dealing with a lot of unseasonedness when it comes to podcasts. A lot of dry ass takes, a lot of cookie cutter takes. Nah, we give it to you straight. We give it to you straight. So, us out. If you're looking for something new, looking for some nice diverse voices in the comics, we're you guys. So please go check us out. But once again, Elvis and AJ, I appreciate you guys being here, man. Thank you so much. Can't wait to pod with you guys again.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Yeah. Um, that I've been getting recently. Subscriber count going crazy. I appreciate everybody here in the chat. I appreciate everybody here who's gonna sit back and watch the replay. So go crazy, man. Comment. I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about this whole Black Panther fiasco? All right. So y'all be easy. Much love, much peace. It's your boy Roliver Queen. Fuck it. It's the Comics Code Authority, and we are